Okay, we're going to make our first connection for the coolant filter into the side of the water pump, right into this port. What you'll see in there from the factory is either a square-headed plug like this, or you'll have a recessed square-headed. Sometimes these things are very, very hard to get out. One trick is to take the truck out, get it hot, put your wrench down there, break it loose, and then finish the job once it's cooled down. That usually helps get these things out. I find putting the first length on, I just put the entire length of hose that you get and pre-fasten it onto it, screw it in, and then tighten it up. That way you don't have to work down there more than you have to. Alright, I've pre-assembled the bracket and the kit per the instructions, and the unit is going to fit basically right here. What we're going to do is we're going to take these two fittings out right here, these two bolts, and we're going to replace these. Okay, we're going to replace these with a couple studs. Okay, basically you're going to leave those standing up just enough to get a nut and a washer on the top of them. Just making sure I had my height right. Okay, so you've got one nut and washer down holding the bracket down, and then you're going to slip your other one up underneath here and put another nut and a washer on. So now that that's mounted, we're going to go back up and connect our inlet hose. We're just going to cut that to fit. Okay. Now the outlet hose connects from the outlet of the coolant filter. The inlet is this one, and the two outlets are here. If you actually have an aftermarket temperature probe that you'd like to put in, you can use that port right there. Now because of the hood, you may have to put a 90-degree fitting in it to turn it sideways before you put the sensor in though. We installed the optional ball valves on this kit. Now the optional ball valves can be for a couple different reasons. One, you want to change the filter, realize you don't have one, you got to go to the auto parts store to pick one up. You can simply shut off the valves. You can now drive the truck with no filter on the truck. If you decide, after you've run the thing for several months and the system's nice and clean and you live in a really cold climate, sometimes the coolant filters will act as a little mini radiator, and they do extract some heat from the engine. So it may extend your warm-up times just a little bit. If you do experience that, one thing you can do with these is throttle them back about halfway. You'll reduce the amount of flow going through the coolant filter. It's still filtering, but you're not going to extend your warm-up times. Okay, for the return line, we're going to return into the expansion tank. We're going to put a T in this line, basically right there. So just kind of get a good mark on where you want to make your cut at. It's okay for the filter to touch the radiator hose or be up against it pretty tight, but in some cases you'll find you have a hard time even getting the hose on, or the filter on, because the hose is just wrapped up against it. What you can do in those cases is take the radiator brackets both loose on both sides, and you can usually give the radiator a little bit of a kick off to one side. It gives you enough play that you can do that. All right, we're done. Now we just need to fill the system back up, start the truck up, and check for leaks.